The Spin-Off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in collaboration with Kiwi Bank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I kōrero with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
The Real Pod is brought to you by our good friends at Nando's. They've got restaurants across Aotearoa, and if you order through the Nando's app, you can collect Perry Perks points to redeem for delicious rewards. Hit nandos.co.nz to learn more and start earning.
How's your sock, all right?
The sock's beautiful. Well, it's a black sports sock.
A lovely sock. Always admired your socks, Duncan. That's so not
Can't
true.
imagine that's true.
Absolutely made that up.
Never even once. Never even once.
Kia ora te whānau, welcome along to The Real Pod. My name's Janie, joined by Duncan Grieve. And Tia here is on production duties.
Kia ora.
Now, I'm in the studio. Duncan is at home and he has a sock on his microphone.
Yeah, it's actually quite a lovely and professional-looking microphone, which was why I had to put a sock on it, because it just sort of, as I have said offline, like it just feels much more vibey and Real Pod-ish to have like a quite worn, not even an NBA branded sports sock, an NBL branded sports sock. Feels right.
And if you're an audio expert, you'll know what I mean when I say it's quite literally a pop sock. So there you go. This is your real news and real life in New Zealand podcast, and we are brought to you by the good people at Nando's. Now, all Nando's restaurants are opening on Friday. It is the most blessed thing about coming into the traffic light system is that you can go and get some chook or some vegetarian options at Nando's. Also, Nando's delivery is launching this Friday, and next Monday to Sunday is Can for Chips. So you bring in a can of non-perishable food and you get free regular peri-peri chips, and all cans are donated to local charity partners in each region. So in Auckland, it's the City Mission, Wellington City Mission, Christchurch City Mission, Kiwi Harvest in Dunedin, and Good Neighbour in Bay of Plenty. Do a nice thing. Focus on the proteins. Keep your tomatoes to yourself, though. Everyone always tries to get rid of the millions of crushed and diced tomatoes. Don't worry about that. With like tuna. What else is protein? I don't know food.
Maybe like tortellini beans. This really isn't our sort of specialist area, is it, Jane?
It isn't, but they do want veggies as well. So yeah, go do that. Get some chips. Do a nice thing for Christmas, and get some Nando's on Friday.
It always feels like Friday should be really rebranded Nando's Day. Because all the stores reopening plus the delivery. I mean, obviously there are some other things happening too that might be relevant to some people, but I think for Real Pod listeners, that's how we should know it henceforth.
Have you downloaded the app yet?
No, but I'll do it right now.
Do it now.
Do some filler.
I downloaded the app, and I've already got a Peri Perk waiting for me, so I can't wait to redeem.
You need redemption. Hey, while we're talking about downloading apps, can I make a sincere request of Real Pod listeners to download the Spin-Offs apps? This is post the redesign, and they're so gorgeous, and they're so fast, and they are just the best way to read the Spin-Off. So please download them. Even if you've used the Spin-Off app before and been like, this is quite good, but it makes my phone weirdly hot, which was, okay, like that was a known situation, and admittedly quite funny as well as really bad. But the new app is just glorious. It's the best app on the internet, in my opinion.
That's true.
Media app.
Also, it's really fast, and there's podcasts on there now, whereas before they weren't on the menu. So I'm happy about that. Happy about that, Duncan.
Yeah.
Podcasts are on the menu.
We're all very happy about it, aren't we?
It's a very, very slick app, I have to say, and no disrespect to the previous incarnation of the app, much superior. While we're talking about the internet, get on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/Real Pod Corner, and also on Instagram, the Spin-Off Podcast Network. Let's cruise into the real news. You've real potted your microphone situation, but in the big news last week, Judith Collins real potted her takedown of Simon Bridges.
So badly. That was one of the most acute and appalling real poddings of all time. It was almost so bad that it transcended real podding.
I hate to say it, but the National Party are like the real pod of political parties at the moment.
Isn't that?
Not just at the moment, but for the last 2 years.
It's true. It's true. It's so embarrassing. They're supposed to be the natural party of government, and if nothing else, that they just have this kind of almost terrifying kind of unity and sense of purpose, and they sort things out behind closed doors and so on. This is very much becoming Gone by Lunchtime. But they have absolutely become the real pod. They're just sort of falling apart at the seams and don't really know exactly what they're about. It's very unnerving to especially to older citizens like us who are used to a particular kind of national party.
It's very confusing. I think there's a caucus or something happening today. Is that the word? Yeah,
it is. They're choosing their new leader. I should shout out that fantastic episode of Gone by Lunchtime, the emergency pod, which if you haven't listened to it, even now when this comes out and the new leader is known, it's still just an absolute must listen. Glorious audio product.
And the good news is there's going to be another Gone by Lunchtime tomorrow. So there'll be an update. So you can do your homework today, listen to last week's one, and then tomorrow there'll be a freshie. Make sure you subscribe. In other real news, it's all about the spin-off, by the way. The spin-off's sports web series, Scratched. Not just on a web series, though, is it? Because you can get it on the
TVNZ on demand.
Has been nominated, well, arguably web, but anyway, nominated for a New Zealand Television Award for the second year in a row. So the full name of the show is Scratched, Aotearoa's Lost Sporting Legends. For the second year in a row, it's been nominated for Best Sports Program. Won it last year, so he's hoping we can do it again.
Yeah, and I think the second season was better than the first even, which is a huge call. Really, really fun watch. Love it.
And if you want to know about other reality TV nominations, you've got pop stars Taranaki Hard and David Lomas Investigates for Best Original Reality Series. Best Format Reality Series is National Treasures, Match Fit and The Apprentice Aotearoa. And The Casketeers Season 4 has been nominated for Te Mangai Pao's Best Māori Program. And those ones are going to be announced in March. Normally announced this month, aren't they? So everything's been pushed.
I'm so curious about how Pop Stars was able to be an original reality series, whereas given that it is 100% a format.
What's a format?
Well, a format is something repeatable, I guess.
Oh, I don't know.
I would have thought. I'm very curious as to how, because I mean, The Apprentice Aotearoa is a format, clearly, right?
Everything's a format, isn't it?
I think everything's a format. But anyway, I love the fact that reality TV is a serious and respectable contender amongst all of the highfalutin drama and comedy.
There are 2 dedicated reality categories. Not enough, I say. Best host, best reality host, Chizzo. Just quietly.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Casketeers, the cast for this year's Celebrity Bake Off has been announced, and Francis Tipene from the Casketeers is going to be in the kitchen, as is Simon Bridges, potentially the new leader of the National Party, but probably not. Rebecca Randall from Shortland Street, Josh Thompson, Laura Daniel and Justine Smith. They're going to be fighting it out to raise money for charity. It's going to be screening on TVNZ next month. Can't wait. Love a celeb bake off and a break dance off. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of Dancing with the Stars some weeks, isn't it?
That's true.
I'm excited to see Simon Bridges cook. I feel like that will not be good.
There is a man who loves being on the telly. I interviewed him for First, which you can watch on the Spin-Off website, which is just a little web series about people's firsts. And man, he just walked into the studio and he was in his zone. He just he loves it.
Yeah, he's had a rebirth. It's just about whether it's come too late, and Judith Collins just total engulfing hatred of him has burned the prospects to the ground. We'll find out later today. You'll already know.
There's actually a little grab of Simon. One of the questions that was put to him was, tell us about the first time you met Judith Collins. And it hits different now when you watch it. So I suggest you go watch it. It's quite telling. Now, there's some updates from the feral possum story. Remember this story from last week, I think it was, in Dunedin, and you said there's no way that a possum would be let out in the wild after being captured because that's bad for the
nature,
the nature stuff. Well, it did actually happen, Duncan. It did get let out, and it wasn't a feral possum. It was actually a pet possum. The possum has a name, Mrs. Scobie Lunchbox. And
it's a good name, at least.
Mrs. Scobie Lunchbox was released in the bush, and a local North East Valley resident found the little bub hiding in a chicken nesting box, and somehow she was reunited with her owner. Very happy ending. And Miss Scobie Lunchbox is going to be spayed, by the way, so hopefully she can remain contained and not have any babes. You look very confused.
Well, it still seems like kind of an uncool thing to do, given that, yes, obviously the possum reproductive cycle is a problem, but don't they just sort of debark our lovely native flora, you know?
I presume this one is supposed to be contained, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to the story that doesn't add up.
I'm a little bit of a sympathizer because the hedgehog. We talked about the hedgehog? We talked about the hedgehog, eh? No, I talked about it in the corner. In the corner, I admitted that I had a hedgehog living under my house. And I say admitted because apparently pests, much like possies and other things.
Spiky rat.
Spiky rat. I've grown quite fond of him and given him a name, and that's like not helping.
I love a hedgehog too. The only thing about them is, like, because I've sort of picked them up and wandered around with them very excitedly at various times in my life.
Jeez.
And then gotten like absolutely savaged by fleas for the for the privilege. So just something to be aware of with hedgehogs. That if you can't really kind of have them be like a cat or a rabbit or something.
No,
so
he's
going to come back to you.
He's very much under the house, or he was. Anyway, Lucy Kelly, Science Corner in the Real Pod Corner, berated me for, well, she didn't berate me. She suggested, she will berate me now, but she suggested I get it killed, you know, do some sort of humane trap type situation.
Well, what are they killing? Birds? Is that the vibe? Birds' eggs?
I don't know. I mean, this guy doesn't seem to get out of my garden, you know? He's just pottering around. I hear him under the house and I'm like, yeah, there's Fred, because he I think his little spikies hit the ducting. So I can hear him scurrying around. And then he pops out of an eave into the front garden at the night time. And boy, he can move like the clappers. I did try to, sorry, I'm 65. I did try to, I had like a brush and shovel and a bucket next to the front porch for a while there, thinking maybe I would be able to scoop him up. The traps are like $200. I don't know if I'm.
No, I think you can do like a homemade one, I reckon.
But I also don't want to like pick up a squished friend. Like he's my pal.
Yeah, I think I don't. Do you read Beatrice Potter growing up?
Nah, but I've heard lots of the audio stories on car rides since I've had children.
I mean, and I'm not 100% confident in this, but I feel like the woodland folk, the sort of anthropomorphization of the various animals had quite a powerful effect on me as a young tyke, and I don't think I'd be able to just summarily execute a hedgehog like this. I know this is morally inconsistent with the way I live my life, but this is just reality for me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same about the Magic Faraway Tree. I'm not sure if you ever read that. And like the wishing chair, I think it was, Enid Blyton ones. There's a character called Moonface, and he just had a big old moon face, like an actual
it's
moon.
A good name,
man. And if I were to ever come across a moon face, I wouldn't dare kill it for the same reason.
Definitely the same thing.
A Hastings party company has launched a giant penis bouncy castle. Very rude, very adults only. I said penis on the podcast. It's the Mad Fun Company with 2 Ds because they are mad fun. They've had 800,000 views on social media of the new bouncy castle. Features a giant inflatable male bit. And originally they were reluctant to advertise the castle because of its 3.25 metre high phalluses. But they went ahead and did it anyway, and they've amassed more than 27,000 comments from people wanting to get their hands on the inflatable. This surprises me not at all. Imagine the bachelorette parties.
Yeah, it seems like a product that should have been around for decades, not one that's just arriving now. Is this its New Zealand debut, or is this a world exclusive?
I don't.
Do you have any more intel?
That information.
I just think it's really cool, personally.
Spin-off Christmas Party 2021. Higher the
I don't think it's a work Christmas party.
It's definitely
situation,
not. It's definitely not. Tell you who's not having a party, or a wedding at least, and that's Celebrity Treasure Island's Lana Searle. She's also a radio announcer, to be fair, but we mostly know her from Celebrity Treasure Island here at the Real Pod. She was forced to cancel her wedding due to COVID-19, and she and her fiancé Katie held a wake instead, where they invited guests and everyone wore black and had a miserable / probably great time.
But so they cancelling or postponing? And because a wake implies death, and you said say cancel, but it feels like quite a lot to say never.
It's Tara's birthday this week, so Tara does our research for us, and she puts together our lovely notes, and she wrote cancel, and I refuse to cancel Tara on her birthday week for writing cancel when she means postpone. I don't know. Happy birthday, Tara.
It's a developing story, and absolutely, Tara has never, to my knowledge, done anything wrong in her life.
No.
So can't imagine that this is the start of that.
No. But fun idea. Made me think of that time Nicole married herself on Shortland Street.
I wasn't watching
novelty.
then.
Do you remember?
No.
Oh, she was so sick of trying to find a man or a woman, and so she married herself.
I love that.
It was very comical.
I remember my old flatmate, Gemma Payton, was watching Oprah once, and she had some guest on who was wearing track pants. This was before track pants became chic again. And Oprah's advice to her was that she needed to start dressing up more because you have to be cute for you. And it's become one of my favorite sort of touchstone phrases and I say it a lot as if it's a well-known aphorism, but I don't think it is particularly famous, but it's just such a great piece of Oprah advice. And I strongly encourage all people to, the thing is it can be track pants. It's just, you got to be cute for you. You know what I mean? Make yourself happy.
I love it.
And then everything else takes care of itself.
Also, side note, you say aphorism as if that's a well-known word.
It's a pretty well-known word.
Not to me. Old dummy in the corner.
I mean, I always Toby gets so much shine for using all these fancy words, and I'm just trying to, I'm going for second place in that particular competition.
I always used to say, probably before I knew Toby and Ben Thomas for that matter, that you were the most verbose person that I had the pleasure of knowing. And now you're in third place.
I'll take it.
A man is furious after a hairdresser cut his long hair short without asking. Now, just give you some context, because presumably you go to the hairdresser to get your hair cut, but this guy had quite long hair and he wanted to cut to shoulder length, and his big mistake was going to Just Cuts. Went to Just Cuts in the Plaza shopping mall and came out looking a little bit like a hedgehog, to be fair. Have you seen the pic?
No.
Yeah, it's all over the news. Big news, hairdressers opening week, big news. Anyway, he's very upset, and apparently the hairdresser did it because she felt it better suited his gender.
Yeah, which I think is quite, I mean, like the whole thing is obviously unfortunate. Well, I think his hair's fine. His new cut is nice.
No, are you looking at the top photo? No,
yeah.
Scroll down, mate.
Okay, scrolling down, this new stuff is just like, it does this lazy loading thing, which is, I think our site does too. Whoa.
That's the reveal.
I mean, I kind of love it, but
it feels of a certain geographical location in New Zealand, and I'm not sure where.
Does,
but it also looks like an absolute hack job.
Yeah, it does. It feels like, you know how sometimes like when I'm watching basketball and someone shoots an air ball, I'm like, oh, I could do that. You know, that's like a haircut where I'm like, I feel like I could plausibly pull that off.
Yeah, so the photo in the centre, again, bad podcast material, but there's a photo in the centre where you can see his long locks, and then there's weirdly just a photo of a woman's head to the side there, but that's actually the length that he wanted, just a lovely shoulder-length bob, and he ended up with some sort of weird mullet.
It's just not your role as a hairdresser.
I don't know what to call that.
It's it is. It's like a short mullet, but it's just not your role as a hairdresser to be imposing gender norms on anyone. I actually had a haircut last week. Let's probably save that for real news.
We're about to real life. We're about to cruise into real life. Quick break, and we'll be right back.
Cool. I don't know the names of any of our segments.
Scientists are leading the conversations about the future of Aotearoa and the biggest challenges of our time: our land, ocean, and climate, our physical and mental well-being, our food health. It's never been more important to understand science. At the University of Otago, you'll study alongside world-renowned experts and researchers. Explore your postgraduate options now. He heringa tangata, he tūhura kōrero. Find out more at otago.ac.nz/PG Sciences.
Welcome back to the Real Pod as we step into real life. Start with your haircut, Dunk.
So I don't know if I'm sure I must have talked about my my barber, George.
You have. He does haircuts in the backyard or something.
Yeah, young George, he calls himself. He's 83 and he retired last year. And he took his barber's chair home with him and put it on his deck. So it's about as safe as can be. Admittedly, an 83-year-old is probably at greater risk of catching COVID. We were both masked, and he's double vaxxed, as am I. And he actually texted me as soon as the announcement was made and was like, "Get in, young man." And so I got 9 a.m. on Thursday. Okay,
so I just want to say, last week you promised the corner you were going to wash your hair and then dry it and let the full bouffant be on display and take a photo so everyone could see what it looked like in its full sort of fluffy glory. You didn't do that. When I saw you must have been Friday, I saw you at some point post-haircut, and I thought, Duncan's had a haircut and he's decided to keep it a little bit long on top. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Was it the lockdown hair kind of like everyone going, it looks good, you should grow it? You're kind of like, I'll meet you halfway?
Well, I actually wanted him to leave it like full noise long on top. He gave it a tidy up that was probably tidier than I'd anticipated.
Oh, hang on. That's the same problem as this lady at Just Cuts.
Oh, yeah, but young George. My beloved. I mean, I could never be mad at him. And I like the current haircut. Also, there's plenty of potential. It's not going to be a long summer. I can let it can grow. I'm enjoying it, to be honest. I read Callum Henderson's glorious ode to long, classic, just long hair, like classic New Zealand long men's hair. I don't know what the headline was, but it kind of been that. And it was quite inspirational, and there has been a lot of positive feedback from women. I'm not saying that I'm not certain that they weren't just having a laugh or they just find me more amusing to look at with longer hair, but I'm also not particularly concerned. I'm trying to be cute for me, as I said before. And I'm enjoying it. Like I felt like I had my haircut that I was gonna go to my grave with, and just realizing that shit can change, quite liberating.
It's very liberating. I mean? I'll tell you what I've done that's been liberating. The squeegee situation in the shower. I have some days not been squeegeeing.
I love that for you.
And I make sure I stay on top of it like every second day, but sometimes I just do the glass. Sometimes I do the whole thing. And sometimes I just fling open the shower door and just walk out of the shower without cleaning up a skerrick of water, and I just let it dry on there, water stains and all, and I feel like a rebel.
No conscience. Just
between that and the pet hair jog, honestly, put me in jail.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a big kind of that's part of what lockdown, like a good long lockdown does for you, right? Is makes you sort of question some of the fundamentals of the way you live your life. And, there's been a lot of reevaluation. Maybe we just kind of revert to mean after this. Maybe some of this stuff sticks. But I think that's great for you, Jane.
Thank you. I'm super jealous of your haircut. Even before they announced the hairdressers, I had emailed my hairdresser. This is the one I was trying to break up with some months ago, but now I want her back, more than ever I want her back. And I swear I will never try to call it off ever again. And she's popped me on the wait list and I've heard nothing. And I've seen other people getting their haircut there. And I presume I'm quite far down the wait list. And I've sent a follow-up email and heard nothing. And I'm really nervous that I'm not going to get anything done before Crimbo. Like, do I need
your
to
hair
be?
looks lovely.
That's because you're not in person. You're on a Zoom, and I had to spend a lot of time taming it. But thank you, I appreciate it.
I believe in you. I think you're going to get a haircut before Christmas.
I hope so.
I think you've earned it.
What's young George up to? I mean,
I would trust him. I would trust him. I don't think he's ever cut women's hair in his life in his 60+ year career. But I think it's worth a shot.
How different can it be? It's all here, there, and everywhere. What else have you got to report? You had a birthday party, another one? You've had lots of birthday parties. Well, not parties. Can't say they're not really parties. Birthday celebrations in lockdown.
Yeah, we have had 4 of the 5 members of my family have celebrated birthdays since the lockdown started. And this was quite good because it was in a period where you could actually have people around. So we had like a bunch of kids in the backyard, and we had this like Nano Girl's got this company. I didn't know this, but where she has like one of her sort of science comms superstars comes around and like entertains your children for an hour, and the person like was really cool person. She does like snapper diet and breeding research, which is obviously very important to this country, but also makes a mean lot of different slimes. And she like the kids were transfixed, and it was the first. So this was the first sort of Nano Girl birthday party since lockdown. So I felt quite. Like there was almost some active public service in it.
It's a shame you didn't get Nano Girl herself.
I don't think that's a thing. I think Nano Girl herself is like...
She's in the ivory tower.
It's like getting the Prime Minister to show up to your sort of community event. It's sort of a bit below her exultant station. But it was she was amazing, and it was real nice for Vivian, and just nice to see a bunch of 7/8-year-old kids just having a mean time outdoors. And then next day put up a Christmas tree. And then the next day put up another Christmas tree at work.
What?
And
okay. Right. I thought in the home.
I love putting up Christmas trees. I love getting in the spirit. And so, yeah, just having a time.
I love a Christmas tree too. I love Christmas. Have
you got yours yet?
No, because it's a very delicate dance, isn't it? Do you do a real Christmas tree at home?
We do a real Christmas tree, and I totally you want to max out your December days, and we always do it the sort of. We used to be the first Sunday of December. We've just started pushing the envelope, going a couple of days into November if it's close enough. But she does start to brown off close to the day, and that's a bad vibe.
So a hot tip is to drill some holes at the bottom, like chop off the very bottom, like just a slither, so that you've got some fresh log,
fresh stump,
and then drill some holes in to help encourage the water flow. Water it plenty and often in those first few weeks because it's a thirsty little guy or gal.
Well, our guy got through like a pint of water in like a matter of a few hours.
Yeah.
On day one.
Yeah, and apparently Panadol. If you chuck some Panadol or something.
I've heard
aspirin.
Aspirin.
Sorry, the dissolvable stuff. Yeah, don't know what that does. I've just probably got a headache after being chopped down. Fair enough.
Yeah, that will be sore.
But don't make the mistake that we made before, which is got a tree, probably 3 weeks before Christmas, plenty of time to have a green tree right up till the big day. But we didn't give it enough water in those first few days, and it started browning. And there was no coming back from that. Yeah. So those first few days are crucial. I haven't got my tree yet, but I will.
I'm nervous, to be honest, because we did like it. We were shocked at how fast it drank that first pint. So it might have had a couple of hours. So it could have resined off. We didn't drill the holes. I've never heard that one before. That's great.
I feel like I may have made that up.
No, it sounds right. I'm hopeful. Like it's still a glorious smell and color right now, but I'll have to keep monitoring it.
Yeah, look after that thing. Okay, my news. I am in. I don't know if I should say crypto heaven or crypto hell. I'm in so deep. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I have parted with cash. It's in the bloody blockchain or something. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Tell me everything.
Oh God, we'll be here all day.
Well, tell me something.
Okay, so I think I touched on it last week. I was looking up the metaverse after some chat in the work Slack about the metaverse. I didn't know what the metaverse was, and suddenly I'm living in it, essentially. I clicked through to a Forbes article and I was like, God, I really should get into this. I really should. I need to invest some money somewhere. Let's try this. And unbeknownst to me, I clicked through to basically the most convoluted kind of crypto exchange you could possibly imagine. And I've had to sign up and get ID verified. I've had to have like a special financial holding situation, and then that gets approved, and then it goes into, then I can buy it through one, whatever it is I buy it through, and then I have to transfer it to a wallet. Basically at every turn, I had to open up a new account of something and transfer some money there. And it's always like, make sure you get the codes exactly right, otherwise you're losing all your money into the atmosphere. And
it's the lose everything forever part that is very unnerving.
Yeah. I'm hoping someone else gets their number wrong and it appears in my account, because I think that's what happens. Basically, if you get your number wrong, it'll go to someone else. And all this to say, I've bought crypto that I can use in a game, and in the game, you can make more crypto. That's how it's like a metaverse. You can actually, you can earn stuff.
So you've got a second job is what you're telling me?
Yes. Yes. So depending on how that goes.
Gaming.
Pretty much. No, I mean, I don't know. I tried to play the game. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably going to get my son on it, like just rip him out of school. There's some holidays. He will just probably absolutely cane it. I'll get him doing that.
He doesn't have to know that he's earning money, and you don't have to tell the government that you're doing some sort of tax-free child labour.
No. I'd never broadcast that. That's under wraps, in the vault, as they say. And hopefully he'll make some money for me vault.
I mean, this all sounds fine.
It all sounds fine. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. It's hilarious though. I have axes. It's like a Pokemon game. And my brain is too fried to be able to put together like combos and figure out powers and defenses and based on too much. Anyway. Watch this space. I'm going to be rich.
I think there should be a new Real Pod segment.
I agree. Totally agree. Jane's Adventures in Crypto.
I don't know that there's much more to add.
Not this week.
It would be like, still don't know how to play the game. Still haven't made any money. Also, word to the wise, every time you transfer that money, they take a fee. So you start out, you think, I'm investing this much money, and then there's a fee comes out and another fee comes out as he's sending it all around the world and into different wallets. It is the most convoluted thing I have ever done in my life. I had to watch so many YouTube videos. There are serious barriers to entry if you want to get involved in Axie Infinity, which is what I've got. But you should bump it up, bump up the prices.
They're all kind of pyramid schemes on some level, right?
And that's it. That's my whole entire life.
Love that.
Thank you. That's our podcast. Ta-da! Hey, welcome to the traffic light system too, by the way, later on this week, everybody. I hope that you stay safe. Hope that you enjoy the things that you haven't been able to enjoy for a long time, and I hope you get to see the people you haven't been able to see for a long time that you want to see, and not the ones you don't. Thank you very much, Tara Ward. Happy birthday to you. Thank you also to Tiahe. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you, Cornies. Thank you,
Spin-off members.
Nando's.
And Nando's. Kind of the same thing.
Bye.
You know, just so beloved. Bye.
Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, Senior Writer at The Spin-Off. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Bernard Hickey, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in partnership with Kiwi Bake.
The Spin-Off Podcast Network.